All right, we are live. Okay, let me go ahead and start our intro and we'll get going. They have been best friends since childhood, played the same sports, attended the same schools, and now they even teach together. You're listening to DC and DH on the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast. So guys, take it away. All right, DC coming in from Nashville tonight with you. And DH, my partner and sidekick, is not here as of yet anyway. He's doing some admin stuff at school, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and have a great time anyway. We got a very, very special guest tonight, Christina Neri.
Neri.
Neri. So I had it right the first time. Okay.
Yes, you did.
And we wanted to reach out to her. I had seen several, I don't know, YouTube videos and social media things that she had put out. And I remembered the show. And we were talking right before we went live. And we kind of got off track on it. But yeah, we did watch it as teenagers. My buddy DH lived down the street from me, and he was the one that had cable in the neighborhood. I come from a very small town, so my parents still watch the 3 channel, if you know what I mean. And it's zigzags on their.
Oh, my house was a
It's good.
3-channel house too.
Yeah. So that program, I believe, came on USA,
USA
and so
Network.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we had to watch that thing, and I think it was recorded when we watched it, because it would be like, oh, okay, you'll spend, let me spend the night, let me spend the night, and 2 or 3 of us would be there where we could watch this show and catch up and try to keep a weekly thing. And our parents are like, what the heck? I mean, like weekly, you're gonna burn their parents out trying to spend the night or a week on at their place. But anyway, yeah, and we thought this is a awesome, awesome show. We've got people our age that is on like national TV. What? How cool is that stuff? And they get to see all these musicians and stuff that we idolized and stuff. So, Christina, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. And thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our
I
pleasure. It's
appreciate
our
it.
pleasure. Let me ask this. Starting out, I was a little confused. It, it was Dance Party USA, and then I seen somewhere dancing, dancing on air.
Dancing on
Is
Air.
that two different? Was that two different shows?
Well, Dancing on Air was
Hmm.
the local show.
Oh,
It was shown in the tri-state
okay,
area, Philadelphia, Delaware, New Jersey.
gotcha.
But I believe some people in New York could see it. And for some
Hmm.
reason, some
Hmm.
people in Los Angeles were able to see it as well. So I've heard from the fans. That started October of 1981.
Wow.
And
Okay.
what happened was in April of 1986,
Hmm.
Dance Party USA was formed through the USA Network. So
Yeah.
we were actually doing 2 shows at once. We would
Okay.
rush after school to the studio, do the live Dancing on Air show. And then once that was over, we would tape an episode of Dance Party USA during the week.
Okay.
And that was Monday through Friday. And then Saturday, we did an all-day taping. We taped probably, I think we taped a Saturday Dancing on Air show, and we taped probably around 4 Dance Party USA shows.
Okay. So here in Tennessee, when we were growing up, we were catching that taped Dance Party US. So it was taped.
It was. It was
Okay. So
probably a
all
week or
right.
two
So there you
taped
go.
out.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. All right. That's interesting. That's interesting. By the way, congratulations to your Eagles.
Woohoo! Fly,
Um,
Eagles, fly.
Go Eagles. Go. Yes.
Go Birds. I know they're going to do a great job.
Yeah, ironically, I teach science next door to a fabulous lady and tremendous teacher that's actually from Philadelphia originally. Went to Temple University.
She must be
Uh,
thrilled.
so she came in after championship weekend and singing the song and got some of her students all fired up. So
Oh, I love
anyway,
it.
I know there's several around here that's thrilled and Good luck to the Eagles for sure.
Well, there's so much energy here, even though I live in New Jersey now.
Uh-huh.
I'm in
Uh-huh.
South Jersey, but it's still Eagles territory. You're either a Giants fan or
Ah,
an Eagles fan. And there are a lot of Eagles fans here, trust
wow.
me.
Okay.
And but
Okay.
you can just feel the energy, the
Right.
excitement of this upcoming Super Bowl.
Yeah. 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 They're gonna do well. Um, Let me ask something that's kind of interesting to me since we're talking big city. Off air, just to let everyone know, and we are getting some followers on there. We appreciate you. So chime in there, get on the chat line, let us know what you're thinking about tonight. Um, anyway, we were talking off the live air here that I come DH and myself grew up in a small town, very small. Nashville was the big city that you had to commute to see the concerts, to do anything, movies, whatever. If you wanted to do some big time entertainment, you had to travel. So here was interesting. It was neat. She didn't know I was going to say any of this stuff, and she just kind of started talking about it. So how ironic is that? It's pretty cool stuff. So let me start out with this. Small town for us, cruising with the friends was a big deal. And mention to everybody what you guys didn't have the car thing as much.
Well, I grew up in Philadelphia, and it's
Uh-huh.
a
Uh-huh.
very large city, but I grew up in what's called Old City, Philadelphia, which
Okay.
is the historical part of Philadelphia,
Okay.
where
Okay.
Benjamin Franklin
Sure.
was, all of that. I actually grew up on the oldest residential street in the United States, which is
What about that?
it's called Elfreth's Alley. It's very well known.
Yeah.
Visitors from all over the world come to walk down the street to see what it was like.
And that's
Um,
something.
so, I was really lucky
Yeah.
to grow
Yeah.
up in the area that I did. And the city was our playground, literally. We didn't
Hmm.
have grass, we didn't have trees, we had concrete.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we would
And that's
take our
something.
bikes, go off with our friends, and
Yeah.
cruise the city, literally on our
Yeah.
bicycles.
And that's something. And
Yeah,
that's something.
it's
Um, did you do any like a lot of the teenagers did hanging out at a mall somewhere? Was there a mall you could hang out at?
Well, the mall that we did have, it was called the Gallery, which was on Market
That's
Street in
wow.
Center
Okay.
City.
Yeah.
And in there, of course, you had all the 80s clothing shops like Merry-Go-Round, Chess King, things like that.
Right.
You also
Had to
had,
have a Spencer's, I bet. Spencer's gift.
of course, that was the
Right.
place to go
Sure.
to
There you go.
to see all the fun objects that they had,
Right. Right. Right.
the fun shirts, all of that.
Sure. Sure.
But absolutely, we would hang out in the mall. But
Yeah.
I think more so, we really hung out at other people's houses more than we did at the mall.
Interesting. We did that as well, obviously. Isn't
Yeah.
that neat? Even though it's large city versus small town, some of the stuff is still the same.
And honestly, we were
Sure.
probably outside during the summer, we were
Yeah. Big
outside
difference, isn't it? Yeah.
during the day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The only time we had to come in was my brother and I had to listen for my dad's whistle. And that's when we knew it was dinner time. We
Right.
had to come in and we were like, oh
Right.
man.
Right. Wow. Wow. Good stuff. Yeah, obviously, folks around here that are following us and stuff, Hickory Hollow Mall, which is no longer, I think it's Nashville. It's actually a community college now, Nashville State, but it was Hickory Hollow Mall. Was the closest place, man. And that was the happening, hopping place then.
Yeah, and I don't know if
Um,
malls are a thing nowadays. Now
they're not.
they have like strip malls
It's just
now,
not the
and I don't even
same
think kids
thing.
hang out at these strip
No.
malls.
There's no video arcade. There's no, fancy, nice little, they have commercialized food courts and stuff,
Yes, they
but
do.
you had like in some of them, you had like little mom and pop places inside those as well in the courts.
Yes.
It was just different. It was just different than it is nowadays.
Now
So
speaking
commercialized.
now speaking of arcades,
Hmm.
I know you grew up in a small town.
Hmm.
We had this wonderful arcade at Second and Market Street. where we would go to hang out after school. And that's where I learned to shoot pool and also turn over Galaga. Do you remember Galaga?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
also
absolutely.
and could turn over Pac-Man because we played it so much. You would learn the pattern of
Yeah.
the arcade games,
Right. Right. Yeah.
and just had a blast. So we would hang
Yeah.
out there
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Space Invaders,
Mhm,
Mrs. Pac-Man, Pac-Man,
mhm.
all those.
Yeah.
You got in. You loved, even if you weren't exactly driving at the moment. You wanted to hop in and do the race cars and stuff like that as well. That was a big
Well,
deal.
I never got my driver's license until I moved
And
over
that's
to New
something.
Jersey. There was no need for me to get a
Yeah.
driver's
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
city.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
We walked everywhere, literally, or we could take the L, which was, you call it the subway,
Yep. Yep.
or we took the bus, but mostly we walked
Mm.
everywhere. It was what you did with your friends,
Yeah.
and you would
Yeah.
meet up with friends along the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I came over to New Jersey and I was kind of stuck. I was like, how do I get to the grocery store? I needed to learn how to drive. So
Right.
I didn't get my driver's license till I was about, I think I was 18 or
Isn't that
19
something?
at the time.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, and of course we had to try to get ours pretty early. I was raised on a farm, so drove everything way early. So 15, then at 16, got your driver's license automatically and all that stuff. Where you could go around and to go to Nashville or somewhere. So yeah, awesome. Um, yeah, Dance Party USA. And what made you want to be on that show?
Okay,
And did you have to try out? I mean, did you have to make the list?
I actually get that question a lot.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I was involved in school activities after school, so I never
Hmm.
really watched Dancing on Air, Dance Party USA. What happened was my brother and his friends happened to be on Penn's Landing. This was during the summer of 1986.
Okay.
And Dancing on Air was doing a remote show at Penn's Landing. So my brother and his friends decided to stop and see what was going on. And here, somebody on the barge, one of the producers, assistant producers, they were picking people out of the crowd to come up on the barge and
Wow.
dance, with
Wow.
the regulars.
Yeah.
Well, they picked my brother, and he came up and danced, had a great time.
Yeah.
And then after all that was over, he was invited to come back to the studio and
Oh
dance.
wow. Oh wow. Okay.
So he did. He actually wound up becoming very popular very quickly. Um, so you really didn't have to audition for the
Yeah.
show. It
Yeah.
was really, you got invited on, or if you went to a remote and you got picked to come and dance on the show, something like that.
Gotcha.
So my brother came home one day from taping, and he had said to me, you should think about coming on the show. We really have such a fun time, and you love to dance. So why don't you come with me? So I was like, all right, I'll check it out.
Right.
So he brought me one day, and I came onto the show. That's how I came onto the show, basically, because my
Okay.
brother invited me.
Brother encouraged. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Isn't that
And
something?
yeah,
The rest is history.
the rest is history. And
All right.
here's what's interesting too about that. And
Hmm.
fans of the show will know this. So when you come on to the show, you basically have to find a dance partner to dance with. If you came with girlfriends, you're usually dancing with your girlfriends. If you came
Hmm.
of guests, like I came with my brother, he was already obligated to dance with either one of the Cootie twins, Lillian. That's who he usually danced with. So he had to find me a dance partner. So the first person, when we walked into the studio, he said, let me go ask Jason if he would dance with you. And so he did. Uh, and so I did. And honestly, I didn't dance with anyone else for my duration of being a
Oh
regular
wow.
on Dance
Wow.
Party USA.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
So I wonder why they wanted couples.
He didn't require couples. It wasn't that. I mean, my brother could have invited me to dance with some of the girl regulars that were there, or a
Oh, I
couple
see.
guests that were
Grouped
there.
up
He just
or
happened
a
to go to
couple.
his friend and say, "Hey,
Gotcha.
can you dance with my sister?"
I see. I see. Okay.
And
So
he was
they didn't want somebody being individualized, doing their own by their self kind of thing.
correct.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. For TV purposes as well, that just looks like everybody's involved and having a
Yes.
good that would make sense. That makes sense to me. Um did it lead you to other experiences away, from doing, when you did the show? Did you get opportunities in other things?
Well, that's an interesting question. Um, we did get to do different local commercials. Some of us were
Wow,
asked to
okay.
do things like that.
Okay.
We were part of some videos. We were part of some print ads for small formals wear, particularly during prom season. A lot of
Huh.
people could win that poster. I actually have a copy of that poster.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That was done a couple of years, things like that. But basically, the creator of the show, Michael
Uh-huh.
Nice, really wanted to keep all of us to himself. So we found out years later there were opportunities. They were just never presented to us,
Oh,
unfortunately,
wow. Okay. Okay.
um, because he didn't want to share.
Gotcha.
Such is life. But
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
we still had a good time.
Sure.
And there were other people on the show who used Dancing on Air, Dance Party USA
Uh-huh.
to
Uh-huh.
extend their career, as we all know.
Sure. Sure. Um, was there jealousy amongst people? Like you're getting too much, time on TV versus me or
Well,
any of
I
that
can speak
stuff?
for
Because of
myself.
the age. I'm just curious.
I can speak for myself and what I witnessed and heard and everything
Mhm,
like
mhm.
that. All of us spent so much time together in the studio. We were
Yeah.
there Monday through Saturday, hours after school, and then all day Saturday. So we would wind up sleeping over each other's houses. We would go
Yeah.
out to dinner together, all of that. So we truly became a family. And with any kind of family, you have love and then you have argument.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
So, there were always little arguments here and
Little
there.
riff here or there. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know about jealousy,
Yeah.
but all of us really worked it all out together.
Sure.
We never left it as I don't like you anymore or anything like that.
Sure.
It was
Sure.
always worked out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that kind of leads me into my next question. As most people know, Kelly Ripa was on that show. I didn't realize it until I started watching a lot of the videos that you guys, that you were involved in and stuff. I was like, and then, people had posted that, hey,
Yeah.
that's or whatever. Um, did did she just kind of get founded on that? Did that help push her to something else?
I don't know. It may or may not have. I'm not even sure if she
Yeah,
would put something like that on her resume. What I
yeah.
do know is while she was on the show, she was going for auditions
Ah, okay, okay.
to New York.
In
She had a
acting, okay,
manager at the time, so
right.
she was actively pursuing a career in show business.
Gotcha,
And everyone
gotcha.
knew that.
Okay.
Um, but she went from Dance Party USA to
Hmm.
All My Children. I do know that.
Oh, wow. Okay, neat. All right. On the show, to me, and like I said, I've watched quite a bit of footage of it. Just kind of just reminiscing, like, man, this is awesome. Just reliving it. As a 55-year-old person, it's pretty cool. Um,
It's a lot of
and
fun reminiscing.
it
You know,
is. It is.
someone had made a comment on one of my posts. I think they had said something like, "Why are you living in the past? Move on." And I
Mm,
explained that we're not living in the past. I'm not living in the past. I'm just happy to share the memories
Sure.
It's just a
Sure.
wonderful time of our lives, with the music and the nostalgia. And it does spark memories too of that wonderful
Sure.
time,
Sure.
not just of the show, but of other times in our lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's fun to talk about and share with the fans of Dance Party USA. So I don't think we're necessarily living in the past. We're just enjoying the memories.
Oh, absolutely. What a great, great time to grow up in. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And you're getting close to that question as well. You must kind of have the mind reader thing because we've already you've laid out right in order kind of the things that I wanted to talk about. So that's pretty awesome. Um, Speaking of those videos, expose, Breakfast Club, several, several biggies. Um, which one sticks out to you? Their performance on there and why? And did you actually get to meet any of them personally, like off camera?
So my favorite performance that came while I was dancing on the show that came
Hmm.
was Jody Watley.
Oh my
She
gosh!
is totally my girl crush back then
Sure, sure,
and still is. She is a wonderful,
incredible.
it's just wonderful and
Yep, yep.
talented. And yes, I got to meet her. Most of us got to meet her. She actually was very friendly with the kids. She would talk with us during break, even while we were waiting to do the next show, because she had stayed and danced on one of the episodes
Okay.
at the end of the show. So yeah, that's the most
Very
memorable one.
personable.
Yes,
Yeah,
most memorable one
and that's
for me.
something.
But yeah, I mean, we had the opportunity to meet everyone that came on the show.
Oh wow.
TKA,
Okay.
Cynthia, Expose, the cover girls. There are just
Mhm.
really so
Mhm.
many
Mhm. Mhm.
that came on. Rick Astley, and
Wow. Okay.
Duran Duran, my fave, came on the show. And
Duran was on there.
they came
Okay.
on Dancing on Air in 1982.
Okay. Now I think I seen where New Kids was on there too.
New Kids on the Block came on the
Yep.
show
Yep.
twice, I think. I
Okay.
believe it
Okay.
was twice. I was
Okay.
actually working for the show at the time when they came on the show.
Oh, okay.
I had just finished I was done dancing on the show and was working for them. But
Okay.
yeah, I had gotten to meet them too, and they were just your average teenage silly boys
Okay. Okay.
having a great time.
Isn't that something? That's cool stuff. What memories? What
Yeah,
memories to be able to hold on to about stuff like that.
they're lots of
This is
fun.
cool stuff. Just that is that is really really neat.
Yep.
Um, what about the host? Was he? I'm sure he was. A little bit older than you guys, but he seemed like he's maybe in his 20s, maybe.
Okay, so for Dance Party USA,
Mm-hmm.
the original host was Dave Raymond, and he was the original Philly fanatic as well.
Okay. Okay. Was he the guy that like read fan letters and all that? When you sit around together
Yes,
and kind
and
of. Yeah. Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
He was
I
just
think
like
I've seen
Andy
more of
Geary.
him than any other host.
Well, this was before Andy Geary, but what happened
Oh, okay. Andy's who I'm thinking of. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
Dave Raymond,
Isn't it?
he was
Wow.
the original host, but he decided to leave and
Okay.
concentrate on the Philly Fanatic. He actually started his own business as well, did all of that. But then they tried out several hosts, but Andy, who was hosting Dance on Air,
Yeah.
also became host of Dance Party USA.
Got you. Okay.
And
Yeah. I know I've seen a lot of him, Andy. That's
yes,
it. Yes.
he is several years older than us. He was
Oh,
really
okay.
like a big brother, honestly.
Huh.
He's funny. He's naturally funny. He's very gifted with his hosting, as
Uh
you
huh.
could tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Natural.
we
Very
called
natural.
him Eagle Eye Andy because he always knew what was going on in the studio. Um, as teenagers, you talk about things, while you're in the
Sure.
studio.
Sure.
When
Sure.
you're on break, you talk about, who's dating who, what's going on, who's fighting with who, all of that. And Andy would find out somehow, or he would ask to interview you for a segment, but he had such a good way of pulling out information from you,
Right.
right? That you weren't afraid to share.
Sure.
But
Sure.
he was sharing it with, thousands of people on national TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, he was a great guy, and
So
I'm
he,
still
he
in
so he
touch
was
with
the
him.
pulse. He knew the ins and
Oh,
outs of what was going on behind the scenes as
he
well.
sure did. He
That's
sure
cool.
did.
Okay. Okay. Um yeah, the I was just shocked about some of the big names that rolled through there that was on the show. That's cool stuff. So
I tell people, I'm like, listen, Dance Party USA was pretty popular back in the
darn
day,
right.
right?
Because here was my next question. What what kind of battle did they do? Because if I'm not mistaken, America Bandstand was in Philly as well, wasn't it?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Or was it in California at the time?
I,
No, it
I,
wound up in California at one.
okay. 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 I didn't realize that. I
Yeah.
think it originated in Philly.
Oh, it definitely originated in Philly.
Okay. Okay.
My
Okay.
mom used to watch
So that
American
makes
Bandstand.
sense. That makes complete sense. So by that time, it was out there in the
Yes,
80s.
I
Okay.
believe
So
it
there
was
was
out
no
there.
battle.
No,
Yeah. There was
no.
no, yeah, there was
And
no
here's the
battle with
thing,
that.
people tend to compare us to either Soul Train or American Bandstand. You really can't
It's
compare
different,
any of
isn't
us.
it?
All the
Yeah.
shows were, even though we were all dance shows, we were all completely different.
It's different. Yeah. I agree with
There
you.
was a
I
different
agree
style, a
100%.
different theme.
Yes.
All of it was different.
Yes. Absolutely. No question about that. Um, what, why do you think, and you kind of touched a little bit, you started to go that route a little bit. Why do you think the 80s music is so darn popular even today to so many age groups? I mean, people, it doesn't matter what age you are, they know the lyrics of a lot of these songs that we grew up with.
They sure do, don't they? I
It's
don't know.
amazing,
I'm just wondering, I find the 80s to be such a carefree time in our lives.
right?
No cell phones, no technology really to distract us. So what did we do? We spent our time listening to music with one
Mm,
another. That was the thing to do. And I believe that's why it's so popular. I mean, it's fun music. It's fun to dance to kind of
yeah,
music,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And of course, a lot of these artists, the bands, pretty good looking, pretty
right,
talented.
right.
Um, and I just think it today it sparks such wonderful memories
Yep.
of us enjoying music at that time, going to teen clubs,
Mhm, mhm.
playing the music at our birthday parties back then, roller skating at the rink, right? To 80s
Right.
music, all of that. That's what I remember most about it.
Oh, the old air band days at the local roller rink.
Yeah.
I remember them well. I didn't do that, but I knew buddies that did. So,
And then
oh
going
yeah,
to
that was cool stuff.
concerts. How
Yeah.
about waiting? I remember sleeping out at the Spectrum in Philly,
Uh huh.
waiting to get concert tickets for Madonna, for Duran Duran,
Right.
Michael Jackson, all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those were fun times too.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Memories that will never fade from you. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Um, if you had a chance, and would you change any part of that hype or that popularity that came with all that stuff? Was there pressure at times, maybe? Did you feel like, man, this is just overwhelming to me? I can't do all this?
Being on Dance Party USA, is that
Yes.
what you're asking?
Yes.
To tell you honestly, I was thinking about that. And as a teenager back then,
Yeah.
you really, I didn't look into the future to understand the importance of what dance party was to
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think, what would I tell myself as like a 16 and 17-year-old, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What advice would I give myself? And I think I would, first of all, I think I would have documented personally the moments more so. I would have journaled more. Maybe I would have had a camera with me to take more pictures because I never
Mm,
sought to do that
gotcha.
as well. Because they were just really fun and memorable, innocent times,
Yeah.
really good
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have remembered more of the stories from back then. I mean, I remember sharing fun times with the dance regulars off of the show,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
Going to like Annette Pizzo's house and having parties at her house and playing games and, having conversations with one another. I wish I could remember what we talked about all that time.
Sure.
Like I would have loved to have documented
Yeah. Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Have more of
Um,
a
yeah,
record of it. Yeah. That
to
makes
have a
sense.
memoir of it and then
Yeah.
be able to share it today, just like
Sure.
I can share some of the videos. Thankfully, my
Well,
family and friends have taped it right on VHS back in the day, and I'm able to
sure.
share them now. So I would have loved to have shared moments like that.
Well, see, that's where you have an advantage over, say, someone like myself, where we had some very, memorable times that, like you said, never took a picture of it or whatever. But you're fortunate enough to at least have some of it on maybe a video or a
Yeah,
picture
every day.
or an advertisement or something that you still can hold on to and cherish.
I'm
That's
very
got to be
grateful. I'm very grateful for those video memories, I have to say,
sure.
because not everybody gets that.
Exactly.
Not everybody
Exactly.
gets that.
That's
So
exactly
so
right.
thankful for that.
Yeah. Do they ever have any kind of reunions with all the regulars?
We have. We
Okay.
pre-COVID, we
Okay.
did have there were about 2 or 3 reunions. We did get together
Fabulous.
and
Okay.
had a great time. And it's just like
Yeah.
picking up, where we left off
Sure. Sure.
35 years ago.
Kind of like an old high school reunion, maybe.
It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And also thankful for social media. The good part about social media is
True.
we can keep in contact with one another,
True.
that way
Right.
as well.
There
So
is positives in that. That's right.
yeah, and we always have a good time getting together. We'll reminisce and we'll
Hmm.
talk about our time on the show, but we also talk about what's going on in our lives today.
Sure. Kids,
Um,
grandkids, all that good
as well,
stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff. So what do you got going on currently? What do you do for a living?
So I am currently a church administrator. The
Fabulous.
church that
Okay.
I attend, I work
Okay.
for. I
Fabulous.
kind of
Fabulous.
run, the daily function.
So you've got plenty on your plate that you're doing as well. That's
Lots
for
of planning,
sure.
planning
Right.
events. Yeah, I do a
That's
lot of stuff
fantastic.
now.
That's
It's good.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we get on out of here, could you let everybody know how to follow and all that good stuff with your social media? Because, folks, I'm telling you, she puts out and I look forward to them one after another, reminiscing, and I click on it and watch those clips. And please keep doing that. That's awesome, and
Oh, I will as
people
much as
do
I
enjoy
can.
them. I
Yeah.
promise.
And and I hear all the time. I mean, Dance Party USA has the best fans around.
Right.
So you can follow me on Instagram at christina.neri.1,
Hmm.
or you can follow me on TikTok at Christina Neri Dance Party, or on Facebook at Christina from Dancing on Air, Dance Party USA.
All
And it's
right.
all in my link on my bios.
Fantastic. We appreciate your time. It's been such a great honor to catch up with you and have some fun.
Thank you so much. This was fun.
Okay.
And go
Hold,
birds.
go birds. Hold tight right there and we'll wrap it up. Let
Okay.
me let me get our sponsors in here real quick.
We would like to thank our sponsors, Hudson's Flags and More, veteran owned and operated, the Nesting Project of Smyrna, Tennessee, and our newest sponsor, PJG Marketing. You can find all these great folks online.
All right, guys. Once again, we appreciate you chiming in tonight. And those that were on, we didn't get any comments, but we had several people that were listening in. So we appreciate that. Keep listening to us. And DH, my buddy, yep, basketballing tonight. I hate it for you that you didn't get a chance to be on this one, brother, because when you see it, he'll tell me. That was a good
I'm
one, man.
sorry
That
to
was a
get
good
to
one.
meet him.
Maybe next time we'll catch up with you again. But as my buddy always says, it doesn't cost anything to be nice to each other. So I want to get his little hit out there, his logo he goes with. And mine is keep on playing them 80s, as I always say on here. So this is DC. And once again, Christina Neri joining us from New Jersey area. Philly fanatic and fan, of course. And good luck to the Eagles this Sunday. We'll be rooting for them as well here. That's for sure. We appreciate you
You got
being on,
both stars
Christine.
for that.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. We'll catch up with you next time. I think we got a week off unless something pops up. But we're also got Mr. Jay Keaton coming up at the end of the month on the 22nd. He is one of the founding members of Club Nouveau. And
Wonderful.
he's going to be on with us. And that's going to be an awesome, awesome show. He's excited about being on. We are too. So take care. Keep following us. We're at DND Dynamite 80s. And like I said, keep playing those 80s. Take care of each other.